Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir. Bienvenue sur Spectrum Télévision. Les populations de Buea dans la région du sud-ouest sont toujours sous le choc après une nouvelle attaque survenue ce lundi matin dans cette partie du pays actuellement en proie à une crise socio-sécuritaire. Un civil a trouvé la mort dans cette attaque. Les blessés ont été transportés à l'hôpital régional de Buea, nous dira notre reporter Catherine Koné dans un instant. La recrudescence des attaques dans les régions anglophones remet sur la table l'impact des résolutions du grand dialogue national. Selon l'activiste Paddy Asanga, le dit dialogue n'a pas eu l'effet attendu, d'après ses déclarations à suivre dans un instant. Sport, football, veillée d'armes pour l'équipe nationale de football du Cameroun. Demain soir, les Lions indomptables accueillent les éléphants de Côte d'Ivoire au stade de football du complexe sportif de Japoma ici à Douala. C'est dans le cadre de la 6e journée des éliminatoires de la Coupe du Monde de Qatar 2022. Ce sera la 17e confrontation entre ces deux pays avec à la clé cette fois l'obtention d'un ticket qualificatif pour les barrages. À la veille de ce match coup près, quelles sont les dernières nouvelles en provenance de la tanière? Où en est-on avec la vente des tickets? Quel pronostic pour cette rencontre? Ne manquez pas le dossier de la rédaction de cette édition du 15 novembre 2021. Voilà pour les titres. Une fois de plus, bonsoir. On démarre ce journal en anglais avec vous, Christelle Asek. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Makeda Lydie Newton, effectivement. Good evening, televiewers. Thanks for joining in on the 8 p.m. Balingo Primetime Newscast on Spectrum Television. As announced in our headlines, one person has died and several others severely injured following an attack early this morning in Buea, southwest region of Cameroon. According to an eyewitness of the scene, the victims were mistaken for separatist fighters. Let's get more specifics of this event with Catherine Kone.
Just when the dust is yet to settle, and the regional headquarters of the Southwest Region, Buea, another attack on the population was reported this Monday morning, November 15, 2021. The inhabitants got up with shock and consternation following an armed attack on members of a cultural group that led to one death and another seriously injured. According to eyewitness account, the members of the Nganya traditional group were returning from their performance at the Buduma neighborhood when they were mistaken to be members of a separatist group. Thus, led to a shooting that left one dead and another severely injured.
It's a sacrilege. This is too bad. This is not what we expect from the government. This is not what we have expected from the government. This is too bad. I am talking as national president of Molongo. I have just lost a youth, somebody I know that has been protecting our people, have been talking against what is happening. This boy has been carrying this Cameroon flag all along. On Friday, he was the lead drummer who danced until we went up to the governor to protest against what was happening at the university. So why must he be killed now? If they can kill somebody who can openly come out and say what is happening is not correct, so who else is safe? Well, I'm pleading with the government that they should caution their military. They should caution their military. If the military cannot protect us, they should allow us to protect ourselves. We can protect ourselves. The Bakure clan, we are warlike. People should not take us for granted. We are warlike. We can fight if we really want to fight.
After being rushed to the hospital, one of the victims by name John Monono gave up the ghost at the Buea Regional Hospital, while Emmanuel Ikoke, another victim, is undergoing treatment. The sad incident aroused anger in the minds of the lookers who paraded some neighborhoods in Buea with the corpse of the deceased. The mortal remains of John Monono was later retrieved from the angry members of Ganya traditional dance group and deposited in the mortuary. It should be recalled that for almost a month now, the regional headquarters of the Southwest region has been characterized by attacks that either leave some individuals hospitalized and others killed. This is either with the use of improvised devices planted in taxis, university campus, public places, or outright shooting with firearms.
Following this attack in his area of command, the city mayor, David Mafani Namange, had this to say.
May I start by expressing my condolences to the bereaved family and praying that may the soul of our brother rest in the bosom of our Lord. The situation is quite an unfortunate one because this is a young man who was so dedicated to the unity and oneness of this country. I can remember just last week during the peace march, he was one of the main architects, and what has happened has happened. But you know, that has happened, and we cannot let things to go out of hand, so that those who don't want Buea to be in peace shouldn't take advantage of this situation. We understand the anger in the population, but we're thankful that we did chat away, because I called for a crisis meeting with the chiefs and my deputies and some other community leaders in the morning, and we decided to first of all go and visit the bereaved family, and we got in touch with the administration, invited them to the town hall, which is the council, because that's the soul of the town. And I'm thankful to God they accepted. The Legion Commander, the DO, and many other security and administrative authorities all came. We have accepted the corpse. Part of the anger was that the corpse of the young man was taken from the population to the mortuary, and being somebody who is of a very high standing in a secret society, that goes against the tradition. We have resolved that the corpse will be handed to the secret society, and we as a people, the council, will stand behind them to see to it that everything is done.
In line with the socio-political switch Cameroon's English-speaking regions are experiencing, Paddy Asanga, a human rights advocate, highlights the failures of the major national dialogue and the need to consider a federation. Josephine Benzi breaks down the highlights for us.
The authenticity of the major national dialogue may be questioned given the recent twists in events in the Anglophone regions. Paddy Asanga, an advocate for One Cameroon, thinks Anglophones are caught in the web of their satisfaction.
National dialogue, they still have not given us a favorable content coming out from the national dialogue. You will not forget that we proposed the Quebecian model as a solution to solve the Anglophone problem. Why don't we talk about an Anglophone president too? The Anglophones have not come to accompany the first president Francophone, second president Francophone, third president. No, it doesn't work like that. So we are thinking seriously, and we think that the national dialogue should be followed up. The Anglophone conference proposed by His Eminence Cardinal Tumi is still of current, because I think that's most of us who are One Cameroonians, we think that that's the only way that Anglophones will sit.
With educational institutions attacked, traditional institutions desecrated, the Jacobins of the crisis residing abroad may not feel the socio-economic impact of the crisis. Various modules should be employed with federation considered.
We have to go to the Third Republic, and the Third Republic is returned to the Federation, and we have a program, a well-elaborated program for the Third Republic of Cameroon. We have to recreate that dynamic of 1992, where all the opposition forces came out with a person who would take us to a transition. And think.
Though he commends the just-ended Toronto conference, the government of Cameroon has not been diplomatically tactical enough to lay hands on the crisis advocates resident in the diaspora.
It's rather unfortunate that this government is not playing its role at the diplomatic level, at the international scene, because they lack that credibility.
Violent clashes between defense forces and separatist groups are still on a steady rise, as some security forces lost their lives on Saturday the 13th of November in the Northwest region, as well as civilians who were wounded today, Monday 15th of November in Buea in the Southwest region. The peace and tranquility of the two zones cannot be valid given the unfolding of events.
Politique à présent, l'Alliance des forces progressistes AFP a officiellement lancé ses activités le 13 novembre dernier, ici même à Douala. Le parti politique veut renaître de ses cendres et la technique choisie, c'est la formation à la conscience nationale des jeunes Camerounais âgés de 15 ans. Plus de précisions avec vous, Inès Pangan.
L'Alliance des forces progressistes renaît de ses cendres. Après le décès de son fondateur Bernard Mouna en 2019 et la démission d'Alice Sadio de la présidence en 2020, le parti politique est dans l'agonie. La stratégie choisie par la nouvelle équipe dirigeante de ce mouvement, la formation des jeunes Camerounais âgés de 15 ans.
La formation à notre vision, la formation à nos méthodes de travail, la formation, n'est-ce pas, des jeunes, pour que la politique étant quelque chose de permanent et de dynamique, il ne faut pas que les jeunes d'aujourd'hui n'entrent pas dans un système où ils aiment déjà leur pays. Il faut leur apprendre à aimer leur pays avant de faire la politique.
Une formation à la conscience nationale qui doit s'étendre et toucher les populations des 360 communes que compte le Cameroun.
La cible principale, c'est l'ancrage de l'AFP dans le Cameroun profond. À partir de ces 360 communes, l'AFP doit mettre à la disposition des Camerounais cette nouvelle approche que nous faisons en politique, cette nouvelle façon de travailler, cette méthode de travail qu'on n'a pas vue ailleurs, mais qu'on va constater à l'AFP.
Ce samedi 13 novembre 2021, l'Alliance des forces progressistes a fait sa rentrée politique à Douala. C'est par un séminaire de mutualisation, de l'innovation et de l'identité républicaine. La rencontre post-congrès est une plateforme d'initiation des cadres aux nouveaux fondamentaux idéologico-politiques, économiques, sociaux et culturels de l'AFP.
Pour l'insécurité routière à présent, les équipes de la gendarmerie nationale étaient sur la nationale numéro 3 Yaoundé-Douala le week-end dernier. Il était surtout question de renforcer les surveillances afin de limiter les accidents de circulation à l'approche des fêtes de fin d'année. Olivier Bouzique.
Ce camion mal arrimé appartenant à une société forestière basée à Lokaluma est tombé dans les filets du détachement Alpha sur la nationale numéro 3. En route pour Douala, son chargement laisse présager une catastrophe imminente dans la capitale économique. Le chauffeur tente en vain de convaincre le colonel Fosso.
Vous suivez? Nous sommes fermes. Il y a 2 camions qui sont dans cette situation. Et tant que les équipes techniques ne quittent pas Yokadouma ou Douala, selon le cas, pour venir les arrimer, ils resteront ici.
Autre cas, pris en excès de vitesse, cet usager a refusé d'obtempérer aux injonctions des Pandores. Il a été happé de justesse dans sa course folle vers l'hécatombe.
Moi, j'ai l'habitude de prendre cette... Dans l'ensemble, c'est les véhicules dits personnels, vous avez constaté vous-même, qui sont de plus en plus pris en excès de vitesse. Et ça, c'est à déplorer.
Des cas similaires sont légion sur cet axe routier au trafic dense, surtout les week-ends. Sauf que vigilance a été renforcée ici et la répression suit impérativement le contrôle et la surveillance.
Par rapport à la non-limitation de vitesse, c'est une contravention de 4e classe. Par rapport à celui qui a fui, cela est assorti d'un délit de fuite. Il sera conduit au PRM de Boumniébel. Une procédure sera faite contre lui et il sera déféré devant le procureur de la République des États.
Aussi, un accent particulier est mis sur la lutte contre la pandémie du coronavirus.
Quand l'agent va vers le véhicule, chacun brandit, met son cache-nez et une fois qu'ils ont franchi, ils enlèvent. C'est l'occasion pour nous de rappeler que cette maladie existe.
À l'approche des fêtes de fin d'année, le trafic va s'intensifier avec de nouveaux défis. Mais les Pandores sont parés à toute éventualité, de jour comme de nuit, pour mettre en insécurité les usagers indélicats.
Parlons justement de la lutte contre le coronavirus, la vaccination contre cette maladie des personnels de santé notamment, formés en gestion de vaccinodrome. 5 jours de renforcement des capacités ont été organisés par le ministère de la Santé publique ici à Douala. Il était surtout question de vacciner le maximum de personnes en vue d'une immunité collective. Oriane Donkeng et Guy Belmangué.
Le coronavirus continue de faire des victimes au Cameroun. Les chiffres font état d'environ 106 000 cas positifs pour près de 1800 décès. Le ministère de la Santé publique préconise la vaccination comme meilleur moyen de prévention. À cet effet, du 5 au 13 novembre dernier, ont été formés des personnels de santé.
Les apprenants ont passé 5 jours d'affilée et je pense bien que plusieurs connaissances ont été assimilées. Nous sommes convaincus que les acteurs vont exercer au niveau des vaccinodromes et seront capables de produire des services de qualité. Je profite de l'occasion pour lancer un plaidoyer à l'endroit du public que ces vaccinodromes seront opérationnels à partir de la semaine prochaine.
Ce sera vaccination certes, mais également grande sensibilisation.
Il faut adapter les moyens de communication aux problèmes que nous rencontrons sur le terrain. Donc la formation a été une aubaine pour les participants d'acquérir ces outils de communication et de sensibilisation pour le changement des comportements. Donc on sera beaucoup plus axé sur une bonne sensibilisation, une belle communication pour pousser les acteurs, pour pousser la population à venir se faire vacciner. Parce que ce n'est que par cette vaccination qu'on pourra donc réduire et même éliminer complètement cette maladie dans le pays.
Ce sont des personnels de santé bien outillés qui attendent de la population.
Ces vaccinodromes qui ont été créés vraiment pour accompagner le ministère de la Santé dans l'orientation et l'augmentation des offres de services. Et par rapport à ces offres de services, on a formé des personnels qualifiés pour pouvoir rendre service. Nous avons rapproché donc ces services auprès de la communauté et nous invitons toute la population à se rendre dans tous ces vaccinodromes.
Ici à Douala, le ministère de la Santé publique a choisi comme vaccinodrome le parcours Vita et la salle des fêtes d'Aqua.
Parlons d'autre chose. La loi du 11 juillet 2018 sur la formation professionnelle au Cameroun est au centre d'un atelier de vulgarisation. Ce lundi, ici même à Douala, les acteurs de la formation professionnelle et de l'emploi reçoivent une explication du dit texte de loi. Plus de détails avec vous, Inès Pangon.
Chaque année, environ 100 000 personnes toquent aux portes de l'emploi et 95% d'entre elles n'ont aucune qualification professionnelle. Tenant compte de ces chiffres, des observateurs pensent que pour lutter contre le chômage des jeunes, il faut leur offrir une meilleure formation professionnelle.
Le constat que le problème du sous-emploi et du chômage au Cameroun est lié au système de l'éducation qui existe au Cameroun. Dans ce sens-là, nous sommes prêts à soutenir le gouvernement du Cameroun à travers le ministère de l'Emploi et de la formation professionnelle dans la vulgarisation de la loi du 11 juillet 2018 portant sur l'éducation et formation technique au Cameroun.
Un des instruments pour faciliter l'insertion socio-économique des chercheurs d'emploi, c'est la vulgarisation de la loi numéro 2018-010 du 11 juillet 2018 régissant la formation professionnelle au Cameroun.
Pour apporter une solution à cette question de chômage, de sous-emploi, la formation professionnelle est l'une des panacées. C'est pour cela que cette vulgarisation doit se poursuivre de manière à permettre à tous les acteurs de bien s'approprier et la loi promulguée par le chef de l'État le 11 juillet 2018 et les textes d'application signés par le Premier ministre chef du gouvernement en juin 2020.
Les acteurs de la formation professionnelle et de l'emploi venus des régions du centre, littoral, sud-ouest, ouest et nord-ouest participent à des ateliers de vulgarisation de la dite loi.
Along with his team, the National Communication Council President Joe Chebonkem Kalabupso has met with cable distributors in the economic capital to discuss some concerns like piracy competition. Our reporter Catherine Cornell was in attendance and tells us more.
Piracy of audiovisual programs falls resulting to unfair competition are some of the points raised by Joseph Chebonkem, the president of the National Communication Council, as he meets with cable distributors in the city of Douala today, November 15, 2021.
The first thing is that it was important for us to meet the cable distributors because this sector is wide and diverse. We have about 500 cable distributors in the country today, and it was important that we consult with them because the content of what they broadcast and the relationship which they have with other cable distributors is posing a lot of problems. Many of them are being accused for pirating images. Some of them are not legally accredited. And so we thought that it was necessary for us to draw the attention to some of what is happening in that sector, but most especially to talk about the content of what they broadcast. Many of our people are decrying the fact that there are some values which are ours, which are being violated by some of the films and programs which are broadcast. And so we thought that it was necessary for us to draw the attention to some of these things, that in as much as they are offering services, they must do that within the ambit of the law in the country.
Due to widespread illegality and hate that exists between multinational and local cable distributors, the NCC president suggests that a syndicate be formed.
We encouraged the local distributors who have been complaining so much about the overbearing weight and influence of multinationals to try as much as they can to form a syndicate and forward a memorandum of their what they want to do. And the National Communication Council will see how to help, either by taking their complaints to the right quarters or arbitrating and see how they can help to improve the lot of the local cable distributors, because they were of the opinion that they are the ones who can spearhead the promotion of our culture and our cultural values. And so we think that that was a good point, and we will help as much as we can to see that they remain in the market, in the business, and also do well as well.
The broadcasting of erotic and pornography programs without any precautions to the local operators should be directed to multinational distributors whom they think do not respect the norms of the country.
And I will speak for Creole in Communication. We're actually very conscious about that. We don't broadcast things that are hateful messages. We make sure that what we're serving to Cameroonians are something that is safe for them. That's what we do. And they actually mentioned that there's outside operators, especially the one coming from the satellite. They're broadcasting programs that are not necessarily in line with our culture. For instance, a lot of telenovelas, they're broadcasting, homosexuals content.
This meeting is coming ahead of Total Energies AFCON 2021.
And now we talk sports football. Following tomorrow's encounter, head coach Antonio Conceição has affirmed Cameroon's readiness for Ivory Coast tomorrow. This affirmation he made during a press conference after the Lions' last training session. Our newswoman Onila Done tells us more.
The Japoma Stadium hosted the last intermittable Lions training today, November 15, 2021. Ahead of their decisive game against Ivory Coast, Leandre Tawamba, Choupo-Moting, Christian Bassogok and mates, all aware of the task ahead, dotted their I's and cut their T's. At the press conference hosted, head coach Antonio Conceição affirms victory is the final results they are looking for as they face the Elephants. We cannot repeat the same error twice. We know we are playing at home and we need the love from the population so we don't fail. We are a family and are ready to do everything to put a smile on the faces of fans so they don't regret buying their tickets. Cameroon, who places second in Group D, will be needing a win in order to make it to the next stage. Pressure mounts on these Lions, who will be playing in front of 25,000 fans.
In line with tomorrow's encounter, it is mandatory for football fans to be tested negative to the COVID-19 virus before having access to tickets for tomorrow's match. This has been one of government's measures to mitigate the spread of this virus. Josephine Binzi reports.
Stakes are high and the match euphoria keeps increasing as fans have understood the assignment of ticket purchase to support the indomitable Lions of Cameroon set to face the Elephants of Ivory Coast for the World Cup qualifiers on the 16th of November. The purchase of tickets has a few steps to follow.
La procédure d'enregistrement sur Mamal Pro, où nous devons créer d'abord son compte.
We have to be registered on the Mamal Pro, where we have to create an account. After that, you need to go to the platform where you'll be demanded a test. As soon as you do that and you are negative, you are immediately taken to the center for ticket purchase.
Directement vers la billetterie.
The entry into the match is dependent on the results of fans' COVID-19 tests.
C'est pas possible de payer le billet.
In the case where you are negative, you can get the ticket. So there is a verification necessity if the applicant is positive or negative.
On est positif au coronavirus ou pas.
Security measures have equally been put in place for the rush hour.
Le billet de 2000. C'est le billet de 2000.
Tickets for 2,000 francs are most sought for because yesterday the affluence was not very positive. But since last night and up to today, there's a huge turnout. Unfortunately, there are law enforcement officers to assist calm the crowd.
Pour calmer un peu certains ardeurs.
Cameroon is set to face Ivory Coast in their 17th encounter at the Japoma Stadium for the World Cup qualifiers Qatar 2022. High-spirited fans are at the edge of their feet as they garner up to accompany the Lions to bring the qualification ticket home.
The Minister of Sport for Ivory Coast, Paulin Claude, is in Cameroon to support the Elephants of Ivory Coast. He visited the authorities of the Littoral region and he had this to say.
Ivory Coast will be here for the African Cup. So it's for us the occasion to see the area, to have the good relationship with all the authorities, all the people living here. And we come here because we have to win. We have to win because you want to go to the World Cup, Qatar. You want also to give the occasion for the players to show that they are the best. You know, Ivory Coast have the good players now in the world. And we want them to take this occasion to show that all the potential they have.
Et on va clôturer ce dossier avec vous, Christelle Asek, justement par rapport à ce match.
Exactly. The finals in Group D of the World Cup qualifiers will be played tomorrow, November 16, at the magnificent Japoma Stadium. The inhabitants of Douala have this to say about tomorrow's encounter.
Some Cameroonians in the city of Douala rally behind the indomitable Lions as they face Ivory Coast on Tuesday, November 16.
Je vois le Cameroun gagner la Côte d'Ivoire 2 buts à...
I see Cameroon winning 2-1. I wish they win because it's our last chance of qualifying.
Il y a une chance pour nous, sinon on n'ira pas à la Coupe du Monde.
Cameroon will win 2-0.
Moi, je suis Camerounais.
I am a Cameroonian and I think we are favorites. 2-1 is my score.
There
is no doubt the score tomorrow is 2-1.
That report brings us to the end of this bilingual newscast on Spectrum Television. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, God willing, for another edition of the bilingual newscast on Spectrum Television. Bye-bye. Bonne soirée à vous.
Merci, Christelle Asek, mesdames, messieurs. Merci de votre attention. Excellente soirée à vous. Au revoir.